Oh, yeah, it's time to ride with Electric Pete, where the wheels are clean, the vibes are high, and the future's fully charged. We've got that rideshare love. No gas, just go. Full charge, full power. Now let's roll. Welcome to Electric Pete, the podcast where the stories are as real as the roads I drive. I'm your host, Pete, and today marks the launch of a special segment called Founding Footsteps, Tales from Philadelphia's First Families. This series delves into the rich tapestry of Philadelphia's history, exploring the city's origins through the narratives of its earliest settlers' descendants. This idea was born out of one of my many conversations while driving Uber. I had the pleasure of giving a ride to Armon Vincent, a healthcare and life sciences technology executive. Armon shared that his family has deep roots in Philadelphia tracing back to the 1600s. Our conversation about the city's founding and its evolution was so captivating that I knew that it had to be shared. In this inaugural episode, I discuss the early days of Philadelphia, the sense of community among its first settlers, and how those foundations have influenced the city's development and the nation at large. So sit back, relax, and join us as we step into the past and walk in the founding footsteps.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So now I know that originally in the car we talked about your family being around since the 1600s. So
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about that.
sure. So we're members of the first families of Pennsylvania. I think the earliest record is somewhere around 1649, but my seventh great grandfather was appointed the first mayor of Philadelphia by William Penn. His name was Humphrey Moray.
Oh wow. Okay.
Uh, yeah, so we're just a very old Philadelphia family
Mm.
that has really stayed for the most part in this region for several hundred years. And one of my direct relatives was one of the founders of Cheltenham as I guess a town at that point before
Okay.
it was incorporated into Philadelphia. So yeah, we
Yeah.
have kind of always been here. This is home.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wonderful. Wonderful. I know. And that was fascinating to me when we met. I mean, I just was like, wow, amazing. This guy is really, really amazing. So I said, I gotta ask you, would you mind coming on my podcast?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and so I'm happy to talk about any topics that you want to focus on. Is there something in particular that you'd like to? Because that part I don't, yeah, I a little fuzzy on, and I did have a couple cocktails before I got in your car. So, um, but yeah, I'm happy to talk about any of it, all of it, in as much depth as you'd like.
Okay, wonderful. Now, so kind of between you and I here, well, and anybody that, well, maybe listening in the future. But I have, I actually was trying to start a history with Electric Pete and the history of Philadelphia and the history of our founding of our country and all the things that came along with that.
Gotcha.
So I picked up a guy in Germantown, kind of like I picked up you, and we talked about it. And he's like, "Hey, you want to talk about history? You like history, I like history. Let's talk about history." And we are going to do a podcast, an episode, but unfortunately, he was an older gentleman, and he, um, he went to visit William Penn in the sky. So,
Oh, oh, okay.
unfortunately, yeah. So when I met you, I was like, "Ooh, ooh." Uh, but yeah, I mean, that would be really fantastic if we could, uh, you know, over whatever period of time, just kind of discuss different topics that interest you, because I'm sure that they're going to interest my subscribers and viewers. And is that okay with you?
Sure. So within the context of the history of Philadelphia, sure. I mean, I can go dig up some of the old family stories of what was going on. I think some of the more interesting stuff is probably pre-Revolutionary War. So while it was
Uh-huh.
still a British colony,
Uh-huh.
um, I know that I have a lot of family history around that. I mean, we have a lot of Revolutionary War family history as well. I have one of my family members was George Washington's baker at Valley Forge.
Well, there you go.
So like, there's just just different things in there uh,
Uh-huh.
that I'd be happy to talk about, and I'll make sure I talk to my sister first and make sure I get all of my facts straight.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be so awesome. Um, and I really, oh my gosh, yeah, something William Penn guided me to you.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, and I'd be happy to talk about like again Humphrey Moore, the guy who's the first mayor of Philadelphia. This was he was appointed,
Uh-huh.
and then there was a second mayor, and then there were elections.
Oh, okay.
And there's the guy who was the second mayor. You may recognize the name because the family did pay the I believe a couple generations later. In this family produced the woman who became Benedict Arnold's wife.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the Shippen family. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so
That
yeah,
sounds familiar. Yes.
yeah. So the Shippens. Edward Shippen was appointed after my relative who served for 10 years, and
Okay.
then and it was just a volunteer position. There was no pay. There was nothing. So in 1701, Moray became the city's second mayor.
Okay.
And then he did a 1 year term, and then there was elections, but it wasn't elections as we think of them now. He was elected by the Philadelphia City Council.
Okay.
So, um, and Moray was also one of the founders of Cheltenham Township.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Uh,
Excellent.
yeah, so there's stuff we can talk about there for sure. I mean, there weren't that many families in Philadelphia at that point, as you can imagine.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't anything. It wasn't anywhere near as cosmopolitan as it was, say around the Revolutionary War for
Uh-huh.
sure. Um,
Uh-huh.
and for kind of context, let me see when. So, Benjamin Franklin is often known as our most famous Philadelphian. Well,
Right.
everything that I'm talking about, all happened before Benjamin Franklin was even born. He was born around 1706.
Okay.
So, we're talking very, very, and he wasn't born in Philadelphia, he was born in Boston, but we're talking just very, very, very early Philadelphia, and very, very much um, a British colony.
Right.
And yeah, and so Moray got here 1683, I believe.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty early.
Yeah, yep, yeah. He was a justice of the peace before he volunteered to be mayor. He was in the provincial assembly. All kinds of interesting stuff was going on in Philadelphia there, but it was starting to uh, to really grow. I mean, and Philadelphia, the charter of Philadelphia happened in 1691, the same year that Humphrey Moore became mayor.
Okay. Okay.
So sort of, I mean,
Was he involved in that in making that happen, or?
well, I mean, I'm sure he was only because he was friends with Penn, and Penn decided to appoint him in the first mayor. It's not like there was, lots of people to choose from that weren't part of the inner circle.
Okay. Okay.
You
Well,
know,
at that point, it was, yeah, it was okay.
yeah,
Who's going to do it?
exactly. I mean, he had a
And what are you going to do?
right. There's, and I forget how many family names there were in the first families of PA. Um, there weren't many.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, I mean, we're talking. There's just a couple hundred families at that point,
Okay.
family
Oh,
names.
okay.
And in the 1600s, it was, I mean, we're talking, yeah, like around 100, something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In the whole state of Pennsylvania, or the
Yeah,
British colony,
the colony.
in what is now known as Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not that many. I can get you the exact counts. I'll make sure I'm. But it was, Pennsylvania as a colony was 1638, and then became a commonwealth
Okay.
uh, in later in the 1700s.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just really interesting history, and obviously central to the founding of the nation, and all of that. So
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's really great. So now, in your current um, role, or work or anything like that, do you are you involved in any kind of preservation of Philadelphia, or any kind of committees or anything like that? In relation to Philadelphia or Pennsylvania.
I'm very active at the Union League.
Okay.
That's really I think my sister's a little more active than I am, and I'm just beginning to start to get my membership to the Sons of the American Revolution, and starting to look into being active with the First Families of Pennsylvania. But really, the Union League of Philadelphia and things they have going on there is pretty much the sum total of what I'm into in terms of the preservation of Philadelphia. Most of my work has taken me more on the economic side of things, and trying to support and help people build
Uh-huh.
businesses and start businesses in Philadelphia and the region.
Okay. Oh, that's great. I like business. Oh, the oh gosh, you just mentioned it. The place in Philly on Broad Street that
Union League.
the Union League. Yeah. Um, I picked up and dropped off a lot of people there.
I'm sure. I am sure.
That's my whole involvement with the Union League. But oh, that's great. So um, uh, I really, I think, I and yeah, I would like to see how we can kind of expand this to give it a little bit more information to my subscribers and listeners. If you're game for that,
Sure.
um, I think that would be really great and a great service to Philadelphia. Um, and I mean, because that's where Electric Pete is based.
Hmm.
Uh, because I do Uber rides all throughout Philadelphia. And I think people would really enjoy hearing more about the city that they live in or that they're visiting, or coming here to do business with. So I think that would be great. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in. I'll make sure I have everything flushed out all around that kind of information. I mean, I think especially Humphrey Moore. I think he's an interesting character at a very interesting time in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania history. I mean, it really just laying down the entire foundations for what would become America.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
you
Uh-huh.
can look at really that time as shaping all of that, and the kind of people and spirit that it took to come to this land and do that, especially, and you can't talk about it without talking about the Quakers and kind of like what was we always think that now, and I think every generation always thinks that right now the world is absolutely crazy. It's the craziest time ever, and I can't believe all these things are happening. Well, that so said every generation that's ever lived.
Right.
And I think if we really looked at some of the absolutely insane things that were happening that actually gave rise to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the colonies and the country as a whole, I think it might help put some of our own current time in perspective. I mean, just think about the idea that that the Quakers were being the religious group was so persecuted that they took a journey across the Atlantic Ocean in a wooden boat with a sail that took months to get across,
Right.
to risk that to an unknown wild land to try and figure it out,
Uh,
because like, how is that not insane?
yeah, that's some big ones, right?
I mean, you had infant mortality rates that were through the roof, that you expected most of your children to die.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I guess
It's
that was a reality.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's thinking really think having conversations about what was that time like, and how did it shape us now, and seeing just how fragile it all is, and that there's never been a time that we always romanticize the past, but
Uh-huh.
it was wild. It was
Uh-huh.
absolutely wild.
Uh-huh.
And if we think income inequality is something now, imagine you have a peasant, maybe who's leasing a small plot of land, maybe half an acre, to try and support his family. And then you have someone like William Penn, who was granted all of Pennsylvania.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's yeah, just really interesting stuff.
I told you the story, I think, of what I heard that how Pennsylvania got its name. Did I tell you that when we took a ride?
Um, I don't remember.
Okay, so the story that I get, and maybe you can confirm or whatever, but when the King of England gave William Penn the area in the New World that looks like Pennsylvania, he
Mhm.
said, "But you got to name it." And William Penn had been to uh, Pennsylvania, and there were lots of forests of trees. So he wanted to call it Sylvania. And the King of England said, "Well, no, it has to have your name in it."
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
William Penn then said, "Oh, all right, Pennsylvania." So that's at least that's what I've heard. And everybody says Penn's Woods,
Well,
which
Sylvania is, yeah, is Latin for woods.
uh right,
So, mhm. So that makes sense.
yeah. So all the stories I get in my car, it's
Yeah,
kind of a collection of stuff.
it was King Charles the Second
Okay, okay.
is who. Now it's also, I also believe, and I will go back and look this one up, but he was given the land to settle a debt.
Right. I heard that. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I want to. I just want to go and look and see exactly how, is that true, and did it happen? Because I am fuzzy on it.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'll do some research.
Wasn't it a debt with the French?
Um, I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
don't know. I heard something about that, and I'm trying to scratch it out of my head, but it's not working right
um, let's see. Oh, okay. So it was a debt that was owed to William Penn's father, Sir William Penn.
now. Oh, okay, okay.
Uh, and
So the King of England gave Pennsylvania to William Penn to settle the debt with his father.
yeah,
Yeah,
you'll never
okay.
guess it, for 16,000 pounds.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And I do know this that it made Penn the largest non-royal landowner.
Wow. Okay.
Because I mean, he was given 45,000 square miles.
Right. Right. Wow. That's amazing. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because it was what was he giving away? You know what I mean? It's just interesting. He didn't care,
Right.
clearly.
Right.
It was like, sure, go make something of it and send the profits back to England in the form of tax. It's great. Go try. Hope you don't die doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's not it wasn't some great thing that he was given. Or at least that's not how it was considered at the time.
Right. Right. Huh. So, uh, I, give me 2 seconds. All right. I got to go grab a book. 1 minute.
Sure. Hmm.
So I got a book um, called The Pursuit of Happiness. And I don't know if you've ever um, heard of this,
Mm-mm.
but that's, I mean, that's a line, right? The pursuit of happiness. They put that in the Declaration. And a guy, Jeffrey Rosen, wrote The Pursuit of Happiness, how classical writer virtue inspired the lives of the founders and defined America. And so it talks about, how William Penn and Ben Franklin, had worked to try to get this, just to get happiness and the pursuit of happiness. And it's not what you think. So it's a very interesting book and kind of something that I've been reading here and there. But that when you talked about Ben Franklin, that kind of came to mind. But so
I'll have to take a
yeah.
look.
Anyway, and we're all trying to pursue happiness, but it's not exactly what you think, as to why they put it in the Declaration.
Okay. I'll have to take a read.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. So anyway, okay. So I'm wondering, um, I mean, we can go back and forth, text, email, and just kind of perhaps plan out another episode of discussion on Philadelphia. And
We can definitely plan the arc, and I'm happy to, do that. I'll put together, kind of a couple of sort of short snippets of some of the stories I could potentially tell. See what strikes your fancy, and then
okay, yeah, that'd be great.
we can go from there.
Okay,
So
wonderful.
I'll do that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Armin. It's been great chatting with you today.
Same. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I appreciate you working through the technical issues.
Absolutely. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Armin. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Philadelphia's rich history. A special thanks to Armon Vincent for sharing his family stories and shedding light on the city's foundational days. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Electric Pete on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on social media to stay updated on the future episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts and any stories that you may have about Philadelphia's history. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, the past is always present in the founding footsteps. Remember, every rider has a story, and it's my job to share those stories with you. If you enjoy these conversations and want to help Electric Pete grow, especially to upgrade my video and audio gear, or even for even better episodes, please consider supporting the podcast. Your generosity truly makes a difference. Check in the show notes for how to do that. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share Electric Pete with your friends and your family. Find me on social media or reach out anytime at electricpetepod@gmail.com. Until next time, stay charged, stay positive, and keep your eyes on the road ahead. This is Electric Pete, signing off.